Hi everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. Sorry y'all. As you can see, very janky, version. We're gonna talk about it. I have a couple videos that I filmed, but I'm still in the process of editing. Like, I actually filmed a video of me reviewing Michael's autobiography, Moonwalk, and I'm still editing it, so that video will come out, I don't know when, but it'll come out pretty soon. But I actually wanted to do like a video like this where not a lot of, because I do want to put something out, not a lot of work, that much work. It's more of like a little discussion. I mean, so is Moonwalk. Moonwalk is also like a discussion-based video, but okay, you get whatever. But in this video, I wanted to actually talk about the Michael Jackson biopic that's gonna come now in October. It originally was gonna come in April of next year, but now it's coming in October of next year, which I am a little sad about because I was really excited about it. I was really excited about the biopic because, again, I feel like this biopic would have been where it's going to be. I don't know, the casting choice, all of it, I think it's great. And so basically this video is me talking about my predictions and my thoughts on the biopic. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. So there's gonna be a movie biopic about Michael Jackson coming out on October 3rd of 2025, which is crazy. It's Bang Chan's birthday. Wow, it's gonna be his 28th birthday. What the heck? And I will be seeing it in theaters. I don't care what anyone says. I will be seeing that shit in theaters. Thank you. At this point, everyone knows that Jafar Jackson, Jermaine's son, aka Michael Jackson's nephew, is going to be playing Michael, and I think that is the best casting choice they could have ever made, point blank period. I think that was an amazing call for them to do, because not only does Jafar low-key look like Michael, he sounds like Michael when he sings. And something that Taj Jackson, which is also Michael's nephew, son of Tito Jackson, that they were actually kind of watching the audition tape. I think it was like an audition tape or something. I don't know. They're watching something of Jafar acting as Michael and things like that. And they were getting freaked out because Jafar had gotten his like cadence, his talking cadence, and the way he talked and things like that, and mannerisms low-key down. It was like I'm watching, it was like I was watching my uncle. Like, it was scary. It was crazy.
I received a phone call from my dad, and which was not odd. I always talk to my dad, but he's like, Taj, have you seen Jafar's thing with Michael, the tape with Michael? And I go, no, pops. And because my dad doesn't sugarcoat anything. That's my dad. My dad is like, he has no poker face or anything like that in general. And so the way he said it could be construed two ways. Like, it was either really bad or it was really good, because that, did you see, that Jackson voice in that way? And I'm like, no, pops, was it bad? And he goes, no, son. He's like, it felt like we were watching it, and it felt like it was our brother. And I was like, and my dad doesn't exaggerate anything in life. Like, he's not the exaggeration type at all. And so hearing that made me want to see that tape, what he saw. And it took some time for me to see that, but we were very lucky and privy. Graham King allowed some of the family to see that audition tape, and he organized it where we could all see it as cousins together with Jafar. And that was such an amazing experience, because we're seeing a tape that basically not only solidified all my questions about, can this person play Michael, which I know as a Jackson in general, like, never underestimate a Jackson. We've watched, especially this generation, because we've watched the greats, and we know that if we ever get our chance, we're not going to mess it up at all. We did our homework, and Jafar not only killed it, it was scary to me in that way, because he was standing right next to me as I'm watching this tape, probably close to 2 to 3 feet away from me, and I'm looking at the TV screen, then I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at the TV screen, I'm looking at him, and then the weirdest thing happened, because I'm like, I put on my glasses, because I was like, maybe I'm seeing it through some kind of filter, in that way, and I put on my glasses, and it was even better, and I was like, and then, no joke, I got a little teary-eyed, because I'm like, this is my cousin, and if what I see on that TV, hair and makeup, and what I see on that, if they capture that, it's over. Like, just in general, like, he's a star. He always was a star, though. That's the thing. Just opportunity. That's all he needed. And so proud of him. So amazed by him. And I don't hype up things at all. I'm like my dad. I'd rather underhype something. The only thing I've ever hyped up was Neverland. I've always lived up to that hype and more. I could hype that thing up, and people could still go and be even more excited in that. But I can honestly say, he not only is going to kill it, because I'm a proud cousin in that way. He's taking it not only so serious, but he is doing the work in that. And so really looking forward to it.
Photos, and
yeah, the cadence,
amazing.
Like, he had the speech cadence down, and then he did some kind of laugh, and it was just eerily scary in a good way. Right. Almost, which, I'm gonna be spiritual here, but certain people are chosen for certain things in that way. And it took away all my skepticism and everything in this picture, in that, because it really rides on him in that. And knowing what I know, and seeing what I know, it's the best person for something to ride on in that way.
And so I'm also really excited on that, because if you're gonna portray Michael, you gotta have, I feel like he's a very hard man to portray. And again, I'm really happy that Jafar is playing him because I feel like he's gonna play the best Michael Jackson anyone has ever played, because again, that man is really hard to portray, and he has a very and Michael had a very interesting life. And so this is where I'm gonna start leading on to my like predictions on how I think the movie's gonna go, and or how I would love the movie to go. As we all know, it's gonna start off just based off like the pictures and just Jafar playing him in general. Obviously it's gonna show thriller era, obviously, but they're obviously going to show him as a kid because they're going to have a kid actor play Michael as well. So they're going to do, the Jackson 5, all of that Shazam, because, that is where he started. That is where he started out on his music journey, was in the Jackson 5 and stuff. Obviously, they're going to portray that, which, you can't really tell a Michael Jackson story without including the Jackson 5, because, again, that was also a very pivotal and important time, and it adds a lot of context to everything in his life. So the actor who is actually playing Joe Jackson, which I did forget his name, my apologies, but I'll show a picture and his name along with his name and stuff. I think he's perfect. I think he's perfect because I did actually watch the newest The Color Purple, like the musical version, and he played, I think, the husband of I don't remember her name in the movie, but he played her husband. And I hated him in that movie because he was so god-awful, like, holy shit. He was so god-awful, but he's an amazing actor, and I think he's gonna play Joseph really, really fucking well, so I think he was a perfect choice. Okay, now, here's my thoughts on, I guess, the abuse factor on it. My thing is that I don't want them to sugarcoat Joseph's abuse, but I also don't want them to, like, oversaturate the fact that he was abusive, you know what I mean? Because, again, that was a part of Michael's life and stuff. At the same time, it's like, there's other things we can focus on other than Joseph's abuse, but again, I don't want them to sugarcoat his abuse just because the family, I don't know if they have a big hand in the movie, I'm not entirely sure, but since they have his nephew playing Michael, obviously his family has a say to some capacity. So to me, just because they have a say in it, to me, I think they shouldn't sugarcoat Joseph's abuse, because especially that's low-key just going against Michael's words, because Michael has bared his soul to us, for the world to know that, hey, this is how bad it was. He even bared himself, like, he bared all of that on the Glenda tapes, which they weren't supposed to be recorded, which is just only proves the point that you cannot trust nobody. I don't think it's Glenda's fault, but it's definitely because I think Sam thought they were cheating. I don't know, girl. I don't know. He told Glenda this is what happened, this, that, and the other, and that they weren't even as tight-knit as people would love for them to think. And it was it's a very serious, but it's also the way he said everything made it funny. But it's hey, it's what happened. So to me, I hope they don't sugarcoat it, but also don't oversaturate the fact, because you definitely touch on it and definitely don't sugarcoat it. That's my hope, because to me it's like, hey, that's what happened, and that's why Michael was affected. That's one of the reasons why Michael was affected. Joseph wasn't attentive. He wasn't really there for his kids, and I do kind of touch on this on my Moonwalk review, so there. But it was, and Michael does talk about he wasn't affectionate, how Joseph wasn't affectionate and things like that. But again, I talk more about that in my review, so just stay tuned for more of that. But so that's my hope, or my, I don't really have a prediction on that, because it's kind of a harder thing to predict, because I can see them not sugarcoating it like the American dream, but I could also see them sugarcoating it, or things like that. So that's my thing on that. Okay, so here's where the actual predictions are coming into play here, is that I think they're definitely going to cover possibly even the Jacksons portion of it. Maybe, I don't know if they're going to cover the Jacksons part of his life. We'll see. Maybe. I would like for them to, but I know they are definitely hopefully going to cover the off the wall portion of his life, because a lot of biopics or anything like that, even though I don't think Michael has had a lot of biopics, they don't cover Off the Wall. You know what I mean? Off the Wall is underrated as hell. Off the Wall and Invincible sit in the same table of being underrated as hell, okay? I think Invincible is the number one, most underrated, only because Off the Wall does have, you know, rock with you, don't stop till you good enough, you know, things like that people know automatically. So but it is a close second to being underrated. Like, no one talks about Off the Wall, and I think Off the Wall is such an amazing album, and it's so fucking good, and it's like, please give it a listen if you haven't, because the entire album from beginning to end is amazing. Same thing with Invincible. Give that shit a listen if you haven't. Because the only reason why I know that for sure, and I'm very confident that they're going to cover Off the Wall era, is because there is a picture of Jafar in the whole Off the Wall album cover, and it's like on a big billboard and things like that. It looks like some press conference or something. So to me, I think they're definitely going to cover Off the Wall era, and I hope they do cover Off the Wall in more depth, especially after reading Moonwalk and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that has happened in between, you know, even before Thriller, you know, the process of Off the Wall and even the process of Thriller and things like that. I feel like it's important to really dig into that. So, and then obviously they're gonna touch on Thriller. Okay, they're going to touch on Thriller, obviously, because we've already seen the drone shot, we've seen pictures, so, which is really exciting, and I'm really excited that they're actually filming the Thriller music video and stuff, or recreating it on the actual site that Michael did. So I think that's really fucking cool. That's really amazing. I'm really excited about that, and I hope they really hone in on the Thriller era and his process and things like that. And another thing that I want them to really hone in and like really talk about is his vitiligo, because his vitiligo is something that I feel like everyone should know, especially if you are just like even a casual fan of Michael, or even just a casual listener of Michael, and you don't know a lot of details or anything, or you've just heard this and you heard that and you don't even know. So I feel like especially the vitiligo is very important to add in that, because I don't know, it's important. That's why he got lighter. That's what happened. He didn't fucking bleach his skin. He just had vitiligo. So I hope they touch on his vitiligo, and then they're probably gonna transition to Bad Era, is I hope they touch on on his vitiligo, because I think that's very important. Another prediction is, I think y'all know the picture of Jafar. At first I thought it was Bad Era, because that's what it kind of looked like, but no, it was from the Dangerous tour. It was him performing Man in the Mirror on the Dangerous tour. My prediction is that that's probably gonna be the ending performance for the movie, because to me, I feel like that's a perfect way to end the movie, because we kind of already know what happens after that in the 90s and the 2000s and stuff. And I feel like it's also just like gonna be a little bit awkward to make Jafar a lot lighter, and because they did make Jafar lighter in that picture, but not by a crazy amount, like so in my opinion, I think the Man in the Mirror and Dangerous tour is going to be the ending performance, and I think that's going to be a perfect way to end it, because again, even though, you know, a lot more bullshit and things like that has happened after that, I just think it's a good way to end and cap off the movie, because to me, I really hope that in this movie they really capture Michael's essence, who he was as a person, both his professional side and his like just his personality, because I don't want them to only focus on his perfectionism or his professionalism. I hope they touch on his like actual, you know, childlike personality, and you know, his fun, uplifting personality. I hope they do touch on that, because he was also like that too. And again, he's always been like that. It wasn't like 1990 hit and he automatically was like, I'm Peter Pan. Like, no, he's he's always been like that. Like, he's always been very childish and wonder, and very, you know.
It's dusk. The moon is out. Most beautiful part of the day. I can see some of the stars coming out. Very beautiful. Everything comes to life. The fireflies are in the trees, and everything's becoming magic. I would say it is my favorite part of the day, dawn and dusk. There's a certain magic about it. Dancing on a cloud, soaring up so high. Watch me now, watch me fly. I can do anything. I soar so high. I am forever.
Loved magic and loved all that stuff. You've always loved kids. He's always like loved animals. Like it was never a new thing for him to love those things. Frank Castillo in his book My Friend Michael, he expressed that he met him during like Thriller era, right? And Frank was a little kid, maybe like a toddler. I don't know how old he was. I think 5. He was like 5 years old meeting Michael for the first time. It was like Thriller era. And Michael was really interested in like the same things that he was interested in, like Garbage Pail Kids, cards, and then like his car and things like that. And Michael was very like, oh yeah, like blah, blah. Like he was very interactive with him and things like that. Like, and Frank was like, I'm very surprised by that, because most adults don't give a shit about that, but Michael has always had a love for toys and things like that. Like it was never a new thing. It was never new for that man to like those kind of things. I hope they kind of like express that too. And you might be thinking, okay, what about the allegations? Do you think they're going to talk about the allegations? If it's gonna go the way that I'm predicting it to be, no, they're not going to. And I'm not gonna lie, I hope they don't. I can understand the argument of they need to say something about the allegations, but at the same time, because it is one thing if the whole movie is based off Michael throughout the 80s, then don't mention the allegations. Don't even foreshadow the allegations, because to me that's not what happened during the 80s. That's not what happened, because it's not important in that time frame. Even at the end, like I said, even if they imply it, or if they like kind of touching it a little bit, sure, whatever you see fit, but at the same time I hope they don't, because to me what only makes sense to me if you're going to mention the allegations is if you're going to tell his life story beyond, like, after 1993. Like if you're actually gonna have Jafar be lighter, and you're actually going to portray him in the like 93 and onward, then yes, you should definitely touch on the allegations, because again, that is what happened during that time. That is what happened during his life, unfortunately. And I was watching Double Toasted. I did watch the video on them talking. It was from a year ago, so not a lot of information was out yet, but them talking about the biopic, and they mentioned that they wanted them to talk about the allegations and things like that, and but they also talked about how if they're going to talk about the allegations, don't make it a biased thing. Even though them personally, they don't believe that he's guilty, they think don't make it a biased thing. Just like talk about the legalities of it, of that, like, yeah, the FBI raided his home, and they found absolutely nothing. He was acquitted, and I agree with that. Like, if you're going to talk about the allegations, because even though I know that he's innocent, and there's literally straight up evidence proving that he's innocent, me as a fan who knows that, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I do agree that if you're going to mention the allegations, don't make it a super, super, super biased thing, only because, let's say a casual fan or even a local person watches this movie, right? It's gonna leave a bad taste in their mouth, because it's like, oh, well, of course they're gonna make Michael seem out, even though, again, Michael's innocent. I cannot emphasize that shit enough. And don't come in my fucking comments trying to just shut up. Just, if you're gonna comment, no, he's not, just shut up. Just delete it. I already see you. Delete it. Like, don't test me, bro. Literally don't. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for it. I can also, yes, literally hone in on the fact that, like, if you're gonna mention the allegations, hone in on the fact that, like, the FBI raided his home. They found fucking nothing. He was acquitted, things like that. Like, again, yeah, mention the legalities of it, and then you, the viewer, can decide. Do your own research. Do your own whatever the fuck, and decide for yourself. And I think that's how it should be done if they're gonna mention the allegations. But if they're not gonna portray Michael's life in the 90s, then don't even mention don't even portray the allegation throughout the movie or anything like that, because to me it's not important. That's my thing about that. To me, don't mention the allegations, because again, you're portraying Michael in the late, throughout the late 60s, 70s, and 80s. Don't even mention, because that's not what happened during that time. But, and if anything, because you know how in Bohemian Rhapsody, because it's the same person or same guy, whatever, who did Bohemian Rhapsody, which I personally really, really loved and still love Bohemian Rhapsody. I watched it recently with my sister. I think it is, even though like people had its gripes, I think it was genuinely a really good movie in my opinion. Again, that's just my opinion. I understand people's gripes, like they didn't look exactly like. To me, like yes, I agree with that to an extent. Like if the actor doesn't look like remotely similar and it just looks totally off, then yes, it can take you out of the movie. But in my opinion, Rami Malek looked enough like Freddie to where it didn't take me out. Same thing with Roger, John, and Brian, especially Brian. Like, oh my god, like Brian, like that's a clone. Like that is a clone. John Deacon too. John looked a lot like the in real life John, and people had issues with the dates and accuracy. And to me, it's like, that wasn't just like a straight up biopic. To me, it was like a genuine like biopic film. I know that's what a biopic is, but to me, like, if you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. That like Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't just, you know, event by event, straight up what happened. Like it was like a film, you know, like a film. You know what I mean? And of course, they wanted to dramatize, kind of make things more fitting for the movie. And to me, that's fine. To me, it's a good movie. The production was good. The acting was great. To me, that's all that matters to me, is that like, and plus, and I'm sure there's definitely gonna be people who have their gripes with Michael, the biopic, because I don't know how accurate they're gonna be. I don't know what's going on, and especially as a hardcore like Michael Jackson fan, I'm especially gonna kind of like see if like with the dates and see what, you know, what's going on with it. But even if it's not the most biblically accurate thing in the world, to me, if that shit is good as hell, then I'm not gonna give a fuck. Because as long as they showcase who Michael was as a person, both as a professional and as himself, besides that, and I hope they show both sides. So basically my prediction on this is that they're obviously gonna showcase Michael throughout his life up until Dangerous. That's my prediction. Because the only thing we've ever seen, again, this could change because more stuff can be leaked, more things can be released, but as of right now, November 20th, 2024, the only thing we've ever seen Jafar playing as Michael when he's lighter was the Dangerous concert. And to me, that kind of gives, and again, just the way it looked, the way that picture looked, the way it's man in the mirror, the way it's, you know, to me, it gives ending piece. You know how, because, you know, Freddie Mercury and Queen, just like Queen in general for Live Aid, that was a perfect ending to end off of. I mean, yeah, like, Freddie Mercury had died a few years later, but like, to me, that was such a perfect ending, because you don't need to showcase every fucking last waking moment until the person was dead, you know what I mean? So to me, in my opinion, I feel like them ending off on Live Aid was perfect. It was perfect. And then the ending title cards kind of explained a little bit more, and they'll probably do that with Michael, I don't know. And if they are gonna do like the ending title cards, then yes, you can mention the allegations and say they raided his home, you know, legality stuff, then you can mention that stuff, right? If they want, we'll see. I think that's my prediction, is that they're gonna show Michael's life up until Jackson 5 to Dangerous, and the Dangerous / Bad era probably won't even be that touched on. Maybe Bad era more touched on than Dangerous, but we will see. But I think the majority of the focus will be Jackson 5 / Jackson's Off the Wall and Thriller are the main eras I think they're gonna really hone in on and really focus on. So, and I think that's what we fucking need in Michael Jackson biopic, because in my opinion, it's like, I feel like we need to really focus on his life in like his 20s and his process, his music process, and I hope that's what they do. I hope they show the process of him creating Off the Wall and Thriller, and you know, just what happened. I'm really excited for that, and I really hope that's what they do. And that's kind of my prediction on what they're gonna do. Is that's the main focus. You know, I think they will do Bad Era, but I don't know for how long they're gonna do Bad Era. Again, I do want them to talk about his vitiligo and really concentrate and showcase his vitiligo, and that being the reason why he got lighter, because, you know, again, that is the reason. That's why he got lighter, and that's very important piece of information, especially if you're watching this as a viewer that you just know of Michael Jackson. You've heard a couple songs, right, and you don't know a lot about him. That's really important to really talk about that, because again, I hate that there's people out there who still are like, yeah, he bleached his skin. To me, it's like, no, and I feel like some people do that just to piss off people, but whatever. But yeah, those are my predictions and my hopes. We'll see. We'll fucking see. In the pictures that I've seen so far, I think it looks great, and I couldn't be any happier of the casting choices, because Jafar playing Michael is really fucking perfect, because not only does he kind of sound like Michael when he sings, and apparently, according to Taj, when he talks like Michael, and then him, just the clip that I've seen in him dancing and performing, he looks like him, he dances, it's great, it's so perfect, and I think Jafar is gonna play the best Michael Jackson that anyone could ever play. He's a Jackson, so of course it's only natural for him to be talented like that, but it's just perfect. It really is perfect, and I'm really excited. Though we have to wait till October, I really hope that it is worth it. I hope that the wait will be worth it, and I hope they will not disappoint, because again, Bohemian Rhapsody was an amazing film, and so I low-key have high hopes for Michael, for this biopic. I have high hopes for it. Let's fucking hope that we'll see, and if any of my predictions are wrong, then ignore this video. Ignore what I said, but as of now, these are my predictions, and these are my hopes, and these are my thoughts on it. So yeah, and I think it's just about damn time that we get a genuine, good, amazing biopic about Michael, because I just recently found out about the biopic that's called Man in the Mirror, and oh my god, I haven't watched it, and to be honest with you, I don't want to watch it, because I've already seen like a couple of reviews, and even Double Toasted little roast session about it, and like I can't watch it. It's gonna piss me off. It's just gonna make me mad, but make me mad because of how bad it is. And then Searching for Neverland wasn't really a biopic. It was just more of like based off Remember the Time, which to me, I think it was a pretty good movie. I don't think it was bad or anything. Like the makeup wasn't horrendous. Like they didn't disrespect Michael in that way. So yeah, but I think this is gonna be a genuine, amazing biopic about Michael's life, his career, hell, even his ups and downs, his musical process. I think that's how it's gonna go, and I hope that's how it's gonna go. Alright, that is about all that I have to say in this video. Leave in the comments what you guys think, what you guys are hoping for as well, if you agree or disagree with my predictions or whatever, my thoughts. And let's start a freaking discussion, okay? Let's start a freaking discussion. Again, stay tuned for my book review of Moonwalk, and I also have a video that I'm taking my time editing, because, you know, when it comes to editing, sometimes I really procrastinate where I lose motivation. That's why I barely post on YouTube. Of me reacting to one of Michael's, me watching one of Michael's tours. I'm not going to tell you which tour, but I'm watching one of them. So stay tuned for that whenever that comes out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.